Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
We're back.
we're back
Another
in the saddle again.
New
Yes, we're back.
edition.
Back in the saddle again.
That was actually not that bad. Back. I can't do it. My voice is so crackly right now. That's good. That was a good one. We're back. Outlaws Gunslingers. And we are finally back for a town. It's been a long time since we focused on something that was a town. It's also been a long time since we focused on the Old West, which was popular for towns as well as you don't really hear.
What are we doing?
I mean, besides Chicago or New York. We're not
what are we
gonna
doing?
do a history of Chicago or New York, right? It'd be way too long. That'd be a 10-part series.
What would be?
The town.
What town?
The towns. If we're doing a series about Chicago, it'd be like a 10-series episode. All the crap that went down there.
I don't think it would.
At least 3.
Should we start doing that?
No. Hot Springs, Arkansas is the focus of this one as we go back to not get distracted by a stupid conversation. Yeah, this one's all about Hot Springs, Arkansas. Members, of course, any land here in the United States, I guess. Members of many Native American tribes had been gathering in the valley for an untold number of years to enjoy the healing properties of the thermal springs that Hot Springs had to offer. It's not even hot springs at this point.
Right.
They're just like, the Indians are like, water, hot. You know?
Right.
I'm sorry for the cultural appropriation there, guys. In 1673, Father Marquette
Well,
and Joliet.
a natural water source is a spring, isn't it not?
This is a thermal spring, which means they're hot.
Right.
So it's like a natural hot
Damn,
tub.
they have those in Arkansas?
Yeah, man, they have them everywhere.
I thought
you
they're
look up-
I thought they're mostly like in a desert.
No, if you look up, they're all over. Colorado has them, and Arkansas is not too far from us, so we can easily go here.
Arkansas is pretty close.
Yep. In 1673, Father Marquette and Joliet explored the area and claimed it for France.
Hey, this is
17
French.
This is French. The 1763
In
Treaty of
Arkansas?
Paris.
Wow. That's a long way for a Frenchman to travel.
I mean, it's not really. They were already out there in that way in 1673.
I don't know. The French were making it that far into
Father Marquette. Is he the same guy that came through and...
the French were coming down from the north, from Michigan and Wisconsin and all that.
Is he the same one that went through and founded the UP?
I think so. Marquette. Yep. I bet.
Either or, yeah. They came in from France in 1673, and then the 1763...
No, 100 years later?
90 years
Only
later.
90 years later? I got all these numbers here. They are exactly the same.
70, I know there's the same numbers, just different. If I was like dyslexic or something like that, they'd screw with me. 1763 Treaty of Paris ceded the land to Spain. However, in 1800, control was returned to France until the Louisiana Purchase of 1803.
I guess I knew that.
Everybody knew that.
Right.
We all learned it.
Well, it was 1804, the month of December. Dr. George Hunter and William Dunbar made an expedition to the springs, finding a lone log cabin,
Okay.
a few rudimentary shelters used by people visiting the springs for their healing properties. They're like, this place will heal you up, sore back.
It's this amazing place with all these thermal springs and thermal spots, and it's known for, at least to some people, for healing properties right now, but it's just... Very few people know about it.
And you soak in it. It's like a hot tub. That's why they made hot tubs.
Right, but a lone log cabin
Right.
around something like this?
Nobody knew about it.
Right.
1807, a man named Prudhomme. Prudhomme? Prudhomme. I think it's Prudhomme. Prudhomme.
Prudhomme?
Prudhomme. Prudhomme. Anyhow, he became the first settler of modern hot springs as we know it today.
All right.
And he was soon joined by John Percival and Isaac Cates.
Okay, well, in 1818, on August 24th, the Quapaw and Native Americans ceded the land around the hot springs to the United States in a treaty. After Arkansas became its own territory in 1819, the Arkansas Territorial Legislature requested that in 1820 the springs and the adjoining mountains be set aside as a federal reservation.
Okay, so we're getting a federal reservation already.
Well, 12 years later, in 1832, the Hot Springs Reservation was created by the United States Congress, granting federal protection of the thermal waters. So the United States government swooped in and was like, these thermal waters are awesome, and now we're going to designate them as a federal thing, so the United States government has control of them and not Arkansas.
There was somebody that was a high-ranking United States official that came here and was like, "We got to own this." Take
Like
this
we're
back.
making
Right.
the federal government is making all the money off of what is sure to be a hot spot once we spread the word around about it, right? Well, the
Right.
reservation was eventually renamed to Hot Springs National Park in 1921, which it remains to this day.
Hot Springs National Park, huh?
Now here comes the. This is what you guys came for. We had to give you a background of the
Right.
city.
Right. Background city. Well, just as any city in the Midwest, southern, south. Would it be Southwest? Really? No. Just be
Southwest is Arizona and New
South
Mexico.
middle. South middle. South middle. Was that like Missouri and Oklahoma?
I think
and
that's just the South,
Texas.
right? That's just the South.
Not Oklahoma and all that, right? The South.
That's not the South, though. That's
No, the
mid.
South is when I hear the word South, I think of Alabama and Georgia and South Carolina,
Texas,
Yeah, I don't think that's
Missouri, Louisiana.
Texas, I think is Texas.
Texas, right? I mean, but it's in the South. Obviously, you Southerners.
Yeah, Louisiana, I'll put in there. But Arkansas and
Arkansas is not the South to me. Arkansas is the. I don't know why I'm saying Arkansas. Arkansas is. I don't know. It's just
Missouri.
It's just the.
Missouri's right there.
Kind of like Midwest-ish.
I mean, not Missouri, Iowa.
Midwest-ish, mid Southwest, right?
Whatever.
Cool.
Whatever happens in any city anywhere. You know what comes up? Illegal gambling.
Yes, sir.
Well, it first occurred in the city as early as the mid-1800s.
Yeah.
Following the Civil War, was firmly established.
Oh yeah.
By the late 1870s, gambling had become an industry that rivaled the healing waters of hot springs.
We're going to go there for gambling. And not only am I going to go there to gamble, I'm also going to relax in the hot springs.
I could win money,
And
dirty sex with whores,
win
and
valuable
go soak their
valuable health points from the healing water. Wait, but it's natural, so it's always free moving, I would assume.
Right, it's a spring.
Right. So it's not, can't be infested.
Well,
That water's always moving, and it's hot. Germs don't grow after certain, whatever the temperature of the water is. What would it be? 100? 100 and something?
that hot spring is probably what the hot tubs usually have, about 100 degrees.
I would say 100 degrees is like almost too much in a
Right,
hot tub.
right. Flat,
Well,
right.
to right now, currently in Hot Springs, Arkansas, it's 84 degrees.
Air temperature.
Oh,
Hey, everything.
these springs
How
maintain.
hot are their springs?
These springs maintain an average water temperature of 143 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ooh.
Known as the American Spa, Hot Springs National Park is 47.
All right, now type in how hot is a spa? How hot is the water in a spa?
There are 47 natural hot springs in the state alone.
Type in how hot is a jacuzzi.
100, 102,
Wow,
104
so
is
it's
the
not
stand-up maximum temperature.
That's not even hot. Then you're jumping
Dude,
in.
you're getting into these hot springs and you're almost boiling.
All right, what's that? What is it's 110 too hot for a hot tub? What's that say?
Strongly advised against home spa water of exceeding 104 degrees.
Dangerous. for one's health.
110 degrees, a spa can be dangerous to your life.
Oh, so I definitely ain't getting no spring. That's 143 degrees. Boiling is what?
212?
212.
Yeah, you're only a few
You're-
degrees pretty much. You're closer to 212 than you are to 0, put it that way.
And
There's no way that there's an average. People are getting in these at 143 degrees Fahrenheit, dude.
no, I don't think so. There's no way.
218 natural spark was dead in Hot Springs, Arkansas, known as the American Spa, is home to 47 natural hot springs. These springs maintain an average water temperature of 143 degrees Fahrenheit. Many are even easily accessible from the park's main scenic road. Good for them.
I think
The naturally high temperatures of the spring water make the water unsafe for bathing.
Right.
So think twice before you dip your toes in. Fortunately, there are other options at the park that make it possible to submerge yourself in the therapeutic water. Sections they probably siphoned off from they had to. There's no way these natural springs there's sections that are suitable. So they go to the ones, they find sections of these springs that are
actually not that hot.
That-
'cause
yeah,
the average temperature
right.
is 143, which means
in the hot spots.
that means there's a lot of hot
Well,
spot that's over that. Someone's
That's
like
what I'm saying.
boiling.
So I'm sure they drift off and down the line. There's a
Right.
perfect spot you can go and chill
And
at
front-
100 degrees or whatever.
And they're not as good as the ones with the hottest.
Well,
I wish this water was a little bit cooler.
okay, so that's a lot. That's a hot.
That's a hot spring.
That is a hot spring.
You
So
ain't kidding.
yeah, but it makes sense that they would have other places down from the hot spots to
Right.
do that. Like,
That's going to be a little bit cooler.
Way too intense for people to be sitting, and you have like your heart would start
you die.
acting up, dude.
Your stuff will start cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Slow boil. Moving on. Anyway, during this time, a Canadian gambler named Frank Flynn, he arrived in Hot Springs and by early 1880s was in control of the gambling operations.
Oh, look at Frank Flynn coming in there. These are my gambling operations now.
You guys, guess what? I not only control the gambling operations, but I own many.
Oh, your women?
Many brothels.
Mm-hmm. Well, by paying law enforcement officers of the police department and sheriff's office, he prevented any intervention into his illegal activities. Flynn, most often called Boss Gambler, either owned or controlled 7 gambling houses, and any who dared to enter Hot Springs and attempt to open up a rival gambling house were dealt with by the police.
Whoa.
So he had,
Nice.
This is my town. This is my town.
Okay, supposedly there's a picture of a palace in Hot Springs. I wonder if it's still there today.
Maybe.
Wow.
It's not even a picture.
It's a painting.
It's a painting.
One man who dared to do so was a gambling entrepreneur from Illinois. His name was Jim Lane.
Jimmy Lane.
Is Jeff's like great uncle or something like that.
Could be, right?
Who arrived in about 1880. Lane soon opened up 2 high-end gambling halls.
Uh-oh.
The Palace,
There's the
which I
Palace.
just mentioned, and the Monarch.
Okay.
Lane refused to align with Flynn or pay a percentage to him for the right to operate his business. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm just going to open up these here and you just leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
In response, Flynn was like, yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I'm not leaving you alone is what I'm not going to do.
Right, and he got several other guys, and they attacked and wrecked the Palace Casino.
Oh, you bastard.
During the attack, one of Lane's dealers killed one of Flynn's thugs.
Oh.
Afterward, Lane fled Hot Springs and made his way to Nolens.
Oh, so they eventually drew him out of town, though.
Right.
Probably took over his establishment.
He was like, yeah, this ain't easy. I thought
He's
it
like,
was.
yeah, I'm done. Bye. By the summer of 1882, many people were tired of illegal gambling and some of the shady elements it brought to the city. Tell that to Tombstone,
Dodge,
Las Vegas, New Mexico, and all those other cities over there in the Southwest.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for the problem is there's no mining or anything here.
Right. That's just
There's a
well,
hot spring.
Hot Springs.
That's never gonna go away.
Right. That's one element that's not gonna
An endless supply.
Right. One of these people was Charles Matthews that came there. He was tired of it. The editor of the Hot Springs Daily Hornet. That's too long of a name.
Right.
Why couldn't it just be the Hot Springs Daily Paper?
Hot
Or that would be
Springs
the same thing.
Tribune
Hot
or whatever.
Springs, right? Tribune, Hot Springs Paper, Hot Springs Today. Something. Daily Hornet. He raged against gambling and Mayor
What do they
T.F.
call the
Lynn.
Hornets? Is there a school called the Hot Spring Hornets?
I don't think there's a school.
Well, I'm sure nowadays are.
The schools didn't have mascots back in those days.
Yeah, I'm saying now. Are they called the Hornets?
I don't know. You would.
Hot Springs Hornets? I would.
That's something for people to look up. Well, he raged against gambling and Mayor T.F. Lind for doing nothing to stop it.
Did
He says,
nothing.
You're doing
Charles
nothing.
Matthews was mad. He was like, what is
nothing
going
to
on?
stop it."
You guys are doing nothing to stop it.
Right.
And the mayor and the sheriff was like, well, you see. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
That's all he said. You see. You
That's
see.
it. Well, shortly afterward, Mayor Lynn, who was also served as a judge at this time, was so angered and got so mad that he met Matthews on the street. He's like, I'm going to go meet this guy. Where's he at? He's
geez.
walking down the street. He pulled out his pistol and began firing.
Oh, no.
When the smoke cleared,
This
Lynn
is a judge and the mayor.
right. When
This is the mayor doing this, by the way, guys.
crazy. When the smoke cleared, Lynn had shot and wounded Matthews 3 times, as well as wounding a peddler and a city councilman who were in the line of fire.
Jeez.
Amazingly, though, the mayor was neither charged nor removed from office.
Obviously,
We got a
we knew
picture
that
here
was
of
coming.
Samuel Fordice.
Fordyce. The mayor over here getting away with murder.
Right, he's coming in.
attempted murder, damn
And
near.
is firing away.
It's crazy. Well, after the newspaper editor recovered from his wounds, he renewed his attacks on illegal gambling and the mayor. Good for him. He ain't
Right.
backing down. As well as on several other prominent men involved in the gambling business. 2 of these citizens included the wealthy and powerful Samuel
think-
L. Fordyce.
You think his name went from Charles to Chuck after that?
Right, that's something.
Chuck.
Your name gets changed to Chuck.
Chuck did that.
Or at the very least, Charlie.
Chucky.
Chuckles. Samuel L. Fordyce and his partner D.C. Rugg was 2 of these citizens that are prominent in the gambling business, and they owned an interest in the Arlington Hotel and its gambling club. So the newspaper guy recovers. He's like, guess what? You think those little 3 shots to me? 3 shots, you couldn't stop me. Now I'm back to set the record straight. With my newspaper, I'm still the journalist they love to hate. I hit them up.
Right. His article implied that the 2 men were in cahoots. With none other than, you guessed it.
Yes, sir.
Boss gambler Frank Flynn himself. And labeled the trio the Arlington Gang.
Dang, doesn't it suck to be labeled?
Right. After this appeared in the newspaper, Samuel Fordyce approached Matthews on Central Avenue and struck the newspaper man with his cane.
Jeez, old man.
He's angry. And then, pulling his pistol, Matthews fired, but missed. DC Rugg then pulled his gun, and Matthews fired again, hitting Rugg in the leg.
Dang, we got an old-fashioned...
right.
Dudes, we got a newspaper journalist guy having gunfights with the most prominent gamblers in the freaking city, dude. What in the heck?
This is the 1880s, though, so...
Right. But still, I mean...
It's expected.
Not with a newspaper journalist.
We just been so stuck in the 30s lately.
It's true.
We forgot about the Wild West. Forgot about our roots, man.
Right. Oh, Matthews, who was wounded, was able to retreat down the street, but was followed by he was followed by Frank Flynn. Jeez, wow. Frank Flynn, the third of the Arlington gang, who fired a final shot at Matthews, killing the editor.
Oh no.
Oh jeez. Fordyce, Flynn, and Rugg were all charged with manslaughter.
Oh no.
In the end,
manslaughter.
They slaughtered a man. In the end, well,
not murder.
I guess not. In the end, Flynn and Rugg were acquitted, while Fordyce was fined $200 for starting the conflict when he attacked Matthews with his cane.
So when he got charged $200, they all were acquitted, basically. Fordyce had paid $200. Wow. 1883. It's wintertime. A new player came to town.
They could almost see my breath.
Right. They can see their breath because it's wintertime. A new player came to town. Former Confederate Major S.A. Doran.
Oh, is he on the good guys?
Right. Doran met. We don't know. Doran met with Jim Lane in New Orleans, who had been run out of Hot Springs.
Oh, look at Jim Lane making moves behind the scene. He sends in this Confederate Major.
Right.
He's like, "You go up there," and they tell him what he did. They're drinking in a bar. He's like, "Watch this. I'll go up there."
They took my casino. It's called the Palace. He was like, "They did what to you, Jim Lane?
What to you?
Who did that? Frank Flynn. Remember that name?"
This dude's still salty about losing the war.
Right.
So he's like, I'm gonna get justice one way or another.
So if you're ever up in Hot Springs, remember, Frank Flynn is not your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whether Doran decided to avenge his friend or simply he liked a good fight, he decided to go to Hot Springs and challenge the gambling kingpin.
He had nothing else to do. He's like, all right, that sounds like a fun time.
Fun. Well, upon his arrival, he reopened the Palace Casino.
Okay.
Refused to join Flynn, just as Lane did. And all attempts at intimidating him were ineffective. He's like, guess what? You know my buddy you get ran out here last time? That's not me.
Ain't gonna work with me. Well,
there's a picture here with the gunfight.
Well, the first violence occurred when Flynn challenged Duran to a duel not long after his arrival, which resulted in Flynn being shot once in the chest.
Oh, no.
But not fatally. What is going on in this freaking town?
No, they're just shooting everybody.
Everybody. Afterward.
Inaccurately.
Right, obviously. Afterward, there were no other clashes between the two factions, with each men being murdered on...
What?
Oh, afterward, there were other clashes between the two factions, with men being murdered on each side.
Wow.
During this violent time, Duran killed 10 men before he himself was killed in 1888.
Okay.
Afterward, Flynn continued to control the gambling operations and used the city police department to collect his debts and to force the competition to leave town.
So it took him a while, but they got him out of there.
Eventually they got him out of there, but this Duran guy put up a hell of a fight, didn't he?
Right. Well, he might not be done. He might not be done fighting from his grave. Though Duran was dead, the feud continued into the 1890s with the Hot Springs Police and the Garland County Sheriff's Department.
What is this? The precursor to Super Troopers?
Right.
Oh, jeez.
In the middle, those two departments were fighting.
Yes.
The two factions clashed over which law enforcement agency would control illegal gambling activities.
Oh no!
In Hot Springs,
you even have the freaking the police departments,
and they're also worried about the profits in the form of graft and kickbacks.
Oh, jeez! So this led to Hot Springs gunfight, the Hot Springs gunfight between the two groups on March 16th, 1880.
Wait! We had a gunfight between the two police?
Two police organizations had a gunfight, man. What in the world is up with that?
No.
The two groups that occurred on 16th of March, 1899.
And about that gunfight, on the morning of March 16th, 1899, a meeting of independent party members took place at Hot Springs City Hall. mayoral candidate, mayoral candidate C.W. Fry and several police officers were present, indicating that Toller now supported Fry for the upcoming election.
Okay.
After the meeting concluded, someone whose identity was never known met with Sheriff Bob Williams, informing him of everything said during the meeting. Williams stormed from his office and went downtown, where he happened to meet his friend Dave Young, who worked occasionally as a deputy. The two men entered the Klondike Saloon, where they discussed the earlier meeting at around 1:30 p.m.
Okay, so we got a pretty angry fella.
Yeah, they're like, what are we going to do about this guy? What are we going to do? We can't just let this happen.
Right, they're going to ruin everything that I worked for.
I'm the sheriff. Right. Damn it. What are these locals? These local yokos.
These locals are loco. Meanwhile, Hot Springs Police Sergeant Tom Gosley was eating at the Corinne Remington Cafe. After finishing his meal, Gosley went to Toby and York's barbershop at 614 Central Avenue. And you know why he went there? Because he wanted a soda.
the old famous barbershop sodas.
All right. Well, obviously he went there to get his hair cut. He had left his .44 caliber revolver in his desk.
What kind of police sergeant doesn't carry?
Right.
Especially in 1899.
But had with him a 2-shot Derringer.
Okay. 2 shots, though?
Yeah, I mean, that's all you're going to really need, right? Williams and Young left the Klondike Saloon, heading to the corner of the Spring Street, where they saw Gosley leaving the barbershop. So he just got his fro done. And he's like nice and he's feeling good. He's got done eating.
I'm sure he had like a nice little hot shave, hot towel wrapped around him. Got a nice little shave.
The guy's feeling good at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
He's like, I look good, baby. Well, meanwhile, Sheriff Williams called out to Gosley from across the street, and Gosley crossed over to meet with the pair.
He's like, hey,
so they're all right. Nothing's going on now.
What's going on, Sheriff?
But then Gosley held out his hand to greet Williams, who ignored it and instead gave him a piece of paper containing the names of the men present during the political meeting. Williams then said, in part, I want to know what you mean by working against me. Well, Gosley's like, hey, man, I don't deny anything. And he responded calmly, then began to defend Chief Toller. Williams called Gosley a liar and a coward and began to yell at him. So now they're making a scene in the middle of the street, and I'm sure there's crowds gathering at this time.
Oh, man. When it appeared Williams was reaching for something under his coat, Gosley quickly drew his Derringer, saying, I want no trouble with you, as you are the sheriff of this county, but I will defend myself if forced to. Young then stepped between both men, placing a hand on each shoulder, saying, boys, this will not do. Young would later tell a friend he believed Gosley would have killed Williams had he not stepped in. Of
course,
he's like, that boy was going to go, well, I mean.
This is my town.
What year was this?
1899.
Oh, damn right.
And it's my town.
Right.
You might be the sheriff of the county, but this is my town, son.
Right.
Coming here thinking you're hot shit. Well, Sheriff Williams opened his coat to show Gosley that he was not armed and continued to yell at him, though. He's like, no, I'm not armed. Can I continue to yell?
Yeah. He's like, all right. Go ahead.
Williams then saw his son, Johnny, who worked part-time as a deputy, walking out of the City Hall saloon. Sheriff Williams walked up to greet him. According to witnesses, Johnny passed his father a .44 caliber revolver, then took another from a friend for himself. Sheriff Williams then opened fire on Gosley, who returned fire with his 2-shot.
Oh, jeez.
His shots expended. Gosley then retreated under fire from both Sheriff Williams and his son.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, jeez.
Unscathed, Gosley escaped down an alley to the Sumter House, where he remained until Chief Toller and another officer arrived to escort him to the city hall. So, okay, here.
You got the sheriffs over here making the police guy run down the alleys and fend for himself. Then you got Police Chief Toller shows up, and what are they going to do?
And another officer, so it was Chief Toller and another officer escorted Gosley
who
to
was
City
the
Hall.
sergeant.
It was a sergeant. Okay. Toller notified prosecutor David Cloud, who, after taking statements from witnesses and the two men, issued a warrant for the arrest of Sheriff Williams.
Damn right.
14 shots had been fired during the exchange, but no one had been hurt.
What? The crappiest sheriff shootings. I mean, these guys don't take gun lessons at all.
Right. Toller suggested that Gosley meet with Johnny Williams to try to patch things up.
Yeah, let's meet with him when he just tried to kill him.
Right. He's like, you guys got to meet together before the situation gets worse. Toller himself, he said, I'm going to meet with Sheriff Williams as well.
We got to hash this thing out, man. We can't have the people that are supposed to uphold the law breaking the law and trying to kill each other.
Shooting
I mean, what the hell are you guys doing?
Over what?
Over
guys?
what?
Come on.
Well, Well, like, we want the profits. No, we want the profits.
Right.
Well, then Toller then called a private meeting at his home, asking Gosley, C.W. Fry, Captain Lee Haley, Arlington Hotel owner Samuel H. Stitt, and property owner George M. French to attend.
So basically, this is like a Deadwood meeting with
Right, everybody gets together and, like, we're going to settle it.
with Bullock and Swearingen
Right.
and
the Merrick.
the Merrick and all. Yeah, I like
Right.
it. I dig it.
Right. In that meeting, they discussed how to best lessen tensions between the two police agencies. Well, Toller then contacted Sheriff Williams to arrange a meeting at 5:30 p.m., which Williams agreed to, but said it had to be short as his daughter Florence was having her 21st birthday party. He's like, we're about to get wasted tonight. I mean, that doesn't matter.
Right.
As was their drinking age in
Right.
1899? I don't think so. So they're open for it.
Is he though? I don't think Sheriff Williams is really open for it if he's like, hey man, it's only got to be like really quick. How can you hash things out in
Right.
time frame?
How do you hash how do you hash literally trying to freaking murder somebody
Right.
and in like 5 minutes, like, all right, man,
Right.
I didn't mean
But I
to.
gotta
I
go.
didn't get you. Stop crying about it. I didn't even hit you. Jeez, Toller. Or Gosley. Jeez.
Right. Sheriff Williams learned after his conversation with Chief Toller that his son Johnny was scheduled to meet with Sergeant Gosley. Oh,
Okay. Johnny's the one that passed him the gun.
right. So really, it's his son who's got the problem
Right.
here. Williams then contacted his brother Coffee.
Coffee, huh? Coffee Williams.
Nice. To accompany Johnny to that meeting.
I'm just afraid they're going to set him up or something. Huh?
Right.
Well, around 5 p.m. on that same day, Captain Haley and Sergeant Gosley walked down Central Avenue, meeting Johnny Williams, Coffee Williams, and Deputy Ed Spear in front of the Oliver and Finney grocery store.
Okay.
They greeted one another cordially, even jokingly, with Johnny Williams commenting that he wanted everyone to be his friend. I
Right.
just want everybody to be friend. Why can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
Chief Toller and Captain Haley went to Lemp's Beer Depot, where Haley's brother-in-law, Lewis Hinkle, was the bartender. It was here that they were to meet Sheriff Williams. Well, Coffee Williams and Ed Spear soon joined them in the bar. It was after this that the encounter began to take a turn from bad to worse.
And still no Gosley?
Not yet. He's still with son Johnny. Right. Johnny's son.
What's his name?
Johnny.
Yeah, what's his son? His name?
Johnny is the son.
Bob.
Bob Williams. Johnny's the son. Gosley's still meeting with Johnny at this point.
Yeah, but Johnny's here.
No.
He says right there.
No.
Johnny Williams.
Coffee and Ed Spear joined Sheriff Williams and Chief Toller at the bar. But meanwhile, Johnny and Gosley are still together.
Oh, Johnny Williams is right there, commenting on that he wants everybody to love him.
Johnny, Coffee, and Deputy Ed Spear met with Gosley in front of the grocery store. And then Chief Toller and Captain Haley went to Lemp's, where Haley's brother-in-law, Lewis Hinkle, was bartender. It was here that they were meet Sheriff Williams. Coffee Williams and Ed Spear joined them in the bar.
Yeah.
So Johnny and Gosley are still presumably together at this point.
Right. Okay.
And then the situation went from bad to worse.
It sure did. Well, Haley told Spear, Ed, I understand you have told people that if I put my head out, you're going to shoot it off.
Oh.
Spear seemed stunned for a moment. He replied, anyone who said that was lying.
You liar.
Whoever said that is a lying yellow belly.
belly liar.
Yellow belly liar, right? I don't think they said lie. He's a lying dog,
Oh,
right?
jeez.
Did they say lie back then?
Lying dog, yeah.
You lying
You
dog.
lying dog.
He said that anyone who said that was lying.
Liar, you lying dog.
Right. Lewis Hinkle, standing behind the bar, became enraged.
Oh, no.
He's like, don't you make me out to be a liar.
We didn't even know it was Lewis Hinkle that said anything.
Right, and that's what he told Spear. He yelled at it. Everybody's looking at the bartender like, dang, Lewis.
All Spear said, whoever said that was a liar. And Lewis is like, don't you call me a liar. Like,
Jeez.
oh, jeez.
Oh,
Toller's
no.
like, dude, shut up. No,
Right.
didn't even know it was you.
Right. Just then, with one swift motion, he grabbed Spear around the neck. Whoa.
Oh, jeez.
Man, he was angry.
Oh, jeez.
Pulled out his knife, sliced Spear's throat.
Oh, my gosh.
Spear struggled to get himself free and stop the bleeding. He's like, oh, no. Haley said to Hinkle, for God's sake, stop. Well, he did.
He stopped it all right.
Wait. Whoa.
This is Captain Haley, his brother-in-law here. So it's his wife's husband just come out and just literally killed a police officer, the sheriff's deputy.
Why would he grab a spear? Was Spears the one that said,
No,
oh,
Spear's the one that said it, that he was lying. Then he was like, I ain't no liar. Don't you make me out to be a liar. Hinkle, however,
However,
would not let go.
he wouldn't.
Toller and Gosley moved quickly towards the struggle before they could reach the men. Spear wrestled free, pulled his pistol, and shot Hinkle in the throat.
Oh no! You want to slice him in his throat? We're
I'll
gonna shoot you in the throat.
He didn't slice his throat good enough, apparently.
Right.
Should have been dead.
Right.
As Hinkle staggered backward, wounded, Coffee Williams shot him in the chest one time.
Oh, no.
Gosley was then shot by Johnny. Oh, dude.
Whoa.
Johnny Williams took his chance and was like, Gosley, here we go.
Well, he heard the stuff that was happening inside, and he was like, "Oh!" Instantly, he was like, "No."
Well, they were clearly after Gosley in the first place, so now Johnny's like, here's my chance, daddy.
Right.
And now he shoots him. Johnny's standing outside the bar, shoots Gosley. Williams shot him twice, once in the right knee and once in the groin.
Why would you do that?
Jeez, Gosley returned fire, shooting Johnny Williams in the head, but not killing him instantly.
Oh.
Coffee Williams then shot Gosley, killing him.
Oh.
Damn, Gosley, you're done, bud.
Wow. That's crazy. So these guys are just about ready to walk in, and then they hear gunfire.
Gunfire,
And then
Gosley runs in.
Johnny Williams is like, "Oh,
Gosley runs in to see what the hell's going on here, and then he gets shot out of nowhere by Johnny Williams. And then Coffee Williams finishes him off. Wow. That's a good shot by, that's a damn good shooting by Gosley after he got shot in the leg and the nuts.
Right, to get him in
and
the
then
head.
Gets him in the head, dude.
Wow. Captain Haiti had fled when the first shots were fired, leaving Chief Toller outgunned and alone.
Which some captain this guy is.
Right. Toller began shooting at Coffee Williams, who ran into the street and took refuge behind a freight wagon. Ed Spear, still bleeding badly, began shooting at Toller. His throat is sliced.
He's like this, holding his throat probably, just shooting.
Right. He's shooting at Toller, as did Coffee. Toller returned fire toward both, hitting Spear in the shoulder. Toller then moved to get a better position on Coffee. They exchanged shots. Toller was hit twice, murdering him.
Dang, the sheriffs are dominating this gunfight here.
Yeah.
Well, one bullet was fired from Coffee Williams, hitting Toller in the head, and one bullet was fired by Spear, hitting Toller in the chest. Either shot would have been fatal, so we don't know who killed him then.
Most likely the headshot.
When Toller went down, the shooting stopped. I would hope so. There's nobody else left.
Right.
Toller, Gosley, and Hinkle lay dead, and Johnny Williams lay dying. Johnny, yeah, and Spear, he's dying
Spear.
too.
He's got throat slashed.
Bystander Alan Carter had been wounded by a stray bullet. Spear was bleeding badly, but would survive.
Wow.
So that guy Hinkle probably reached across, just did like a definitely, obviously not enough to go through the jugular or anything like that. So yeah,
Got a dull knife. And,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's terrible.
He was bleeding badly, but would survive. However,
the
shooting was not over.
what? There's nowhere left to shoot.
There is.
Wow. Well, just then, Hot Springs Detective Jim Hart was notified by concerned citizens and responded to the shootout.
He's like, I'm here to respond to the shootout.
Jim Hart,
Detective Jim Hart.
Sheriff Williams had arrived by that time, found his son dying, and received a full report of what had happened from his brother Coffee. Seeing Hart, Sheriff Williams walked over to him and said, "Here's another of those sons of bitches."
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man. Williams then pointed his pistol and shot Hart point blank in the face.
Jeez.
Whoa! Deputy Will Watt, nephew to Sheriff Williams, leaned over the sheriff and fired 2 more bullets to Hart's already dead body. By this time, Chief Toller's wife had arrived. Oh, no.
Dude, what is happening here?
Here's another one of these sons of bitches, he said, and shot him right in the face.
Wow. Well, his wife comes, Sheriff Toller does. Instead of crying, she simply glared at Sheriff Williams, who told her, "Yes, we got Toller, and I wish we had you where he is now." Oh, jeez. Toller's wife immediately left, retrieved a gun from her house, and returned with the intent to shoot Sheriff Williams. However, he had left the scene. Well, by 9:30 p.m., Johnny Williams died, bringing the total to 5 killed and 2 wounded.
Wow.
Dang, dude.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
This dude was savage, even telling, I wish it was you here, too, next to your husband.
Right.
Mrs. Toller.
Hot Springs.
Jeez, dude.
Ooh. Constable Sam Tate and his deputy Jack Archer removed the bodies, taking them to Gross Funeral Home. Mayor Gordon called an emergency meeting and replaced Chief Toller with L.D. Belden.
You think L.D. Belden is like, I don't want to be any part of this law enforcement that's happening in Hot Springs right now.
Well, at this point, Mayor Gordon and now new police chief Belden selected 150 men to carry out armed patrol of the city. but tourists began leaving in large numbers. Well, what do you think?
Obviously, you got the people that are supposed to protect the city killing each other. I don't think
and now you got 150 deputized people walking around the streets.
Armed like it was like martial law in the hot springs now.
Right. Newspaper reporters from the Arkansas Democrat and the Arkansas Gazette converged on the town.
I'm willing to bet that these two are competing, and one's not a Democrat.
Right.
Well, the following day, an inquest was held with Governor Daniel Webster Jones present. Sheriff Bob Williams, Ed Spear, Will Watt, and Coffee Williams were charged with murder.
Oh.
All four were arrested but made bail.
Of course. Well, we had some trials that followed. Spear and Coffee Williams were found to have acted in self-defense.
Spear, yes. I don't know about Coffee Williams. He straight up just shot Hinkle.
There's no reason. There was no threat to him. The trials of Bob Williams and Will Watt ended in a hung jury based on conflicting testimony from witnesses. Jim Hart's wife, who was blind, later filed a $20,000 lawsuit against Bob Williams but lost.
How does that make sense?
Right. Why would Jim Hart's...
Bob Williams straight up went to Hart and shot him in the face after he just walked up on the scene. He was like, hey, there's another one of them. Shoot him in the face.
Yeah, but nobody's seen that.
Everybody's seen it. Think nobody was watching?
Well, there ain't gonna be no witnesses.
Oh, my gosh.
Right.
Conflicting testimony from witnesses.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, jeez.
The tensions between the Hot Springs Police Department and the Garland County Sheriff's Office continued well into the early 20th century over the affair.
Oh, my
So you got the Hot Springs Police Department and the county. So you got the city and the county. You'd think the county would win.
Well, they did, clearly, because none of the sheriffs or the deputies got, nothing happened to them.
Well, it continued until the 20th century.
Yeah, just like tensions.
Doesn't
Doesn't say conflicts.
Well, maybe beat ups. No more murdering. Just beat each other up.
As we said, Frank Flynn was forced out of the town following the shootout by a citizens commission formed by Mayor Gordon.
Right.
Illegal gambling did not go away, and we know what happened.
Yep.
Corruption, both law enforcement agency remained.
Right.
Wow, dude, that might be one of the best shootout things we've done. That's more crazy than the
that's
more
same.
no, that's more crazy than OK Corral. The OK Corral didn't have somebody just walk up and shoot somebody in the face or get his throat slit and then come back with a shot to the neck. I mean, holy hell, there was a lot going on in there in that however amount of time that took place.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd like to see a reenactment of that.
Well, moving on.
1920s, the city was filled with hotel rooms, saloons, and back alleys that included casino-type gaming of all kinds.
All kinds.
Anything you can think of. If it's a casino type.
Casino.
Yes,
the casino. Dude,
Maybe it was called casinos.
Somebody has named a casino that?
Casino.
The casino.
The casino.
The casino.
Right. We should.
Copyright. It's not even.
You heard it here first, boys.
John Wingland. I say it's copyrighted, so it's copyrighted.
Right. It's copyrighted. Well, it's pending.
And it's not.
It's not at all.
That would be a patent, anyways.
Penny patent.
Patent pending.
Right. Anyway,
the Cancino Casino. The Cancino Casino.
The casino.
The Cancino Casino.
Casino. Anyhow, 1926, Leo McLaughlin was elected mayor and fulfilled the campaign promise to run Hot Springs as an open town.
Ooh, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, it included legal gambling.
Okay.
Overlooked hotels that advertised the availability of
Whores.
And off-track And off-track booking was available for virtually any horse race in North America.
Oh, good for them.
Oh, so it's like we know what we got here.
Look at this guy. He's bringing in the gambling. He's
smart.
like, I know what the money brings, dude.
As long as we can keep it civil.
Well, as Mayor McLaughlin reigned as the undisputed boss of Garland County politics for the next 20 years. However, McLaughlin took it to a new level, using voter fraud and other unlawful tactics to drive his political machine.
Hey.
During his tenure, local law enforcement was controlled by a political machine and a former sheriff who attempted to have the state's anti-gambling laws enforced and to secure honest elections, but was murdered in 1937.
1937.
No one was ever charged with this killing.
So we're kind of quiet from 20s and the 30s on. We finally get our... Oh, here we go here. Between 1927 and 1967, Hot Springs operated the largest illegal gambling racket in the country. In the 1930s, over 1 million baths a year were given at the Hot Springs. and it becomes America's first resort.
It's a resort town now, boys.
Right.
During McLaughlin's time in office, many underworld characters frequented hot springs, spas, and gambling became one of the town's most popular forms of entertainment.
Nice.
Some of these infamous names included Owen Vincent, Oni Madden, Bugs Moran, Charles Lucky Luciano, and Al Capone himself.
Good for all these guys. I can't believe they're the only ones that went down there.
Well, they're not.
Right. A few of their favorite hangouts were the Southern Club, which now houses Josephine Toussaint. Is that her name?
Toussaint.
Wax Museum. The Ohio Club, now considered to be the oldest bar in Arkansas.
All right.
The Arlington Hotel, which still entertains guests.
Okay.
And the Oak Lawn Racetrack, which is still open today.
Oh, look at these guys still getting there, huh?
Right. You got a picture of Al Capone holding a cigar in his mouth.
Al Capone first came to Hot Springs in the early 1920s during the Prohibition era, and he and his boss, Johnny Torrio, stayed at the Majestic Hotel.
Johnny Torrio.
During this time, Capone and his men came to town to strike deals with many moonshiners in the area. Soon, he purchased an underperforming dairy outside of town and turned it into his own moonshine distillery.
Okay. Was this in his story?
Yeah, could have been.
Don't sound familiar. Mimicking the water products of Mountain Valley Spring Water Company, which had been distributing water from hot springs since 1871. Al Capone placed his moonshine in clear glass bottles and called his product Mountain Valley Water. Mountain Valley Water.
Dang, and this Mountain Valley spring water didn't have an issue with that?
Right. He would then smuggle his bootleg liquor into tanker rail card roads. What?
Well, these are train tracks. Look at this here rail car road.
No, you stupid brain. Read the words right. I just like mix and match.
Well, Clem, did you hear they're building a new rail car road down there, down yonder?
Rail car road. He would then smuggle his bootleg liquor into tanker railroad cars.
It's all right.
Somehow, man.
What are you going to do? When the new Arlington Hotel opened its doors on New Year's Day, 1925, Capone often rented the entire fourth floor of the hotel for himself and his entourage.
Entourage.
L.
Whoa. Is that the first word of entourage that we've seen in all of our series?
I doubt it. L, along with his brother Ralph, were often known to frequent hot springs where they enjoyed the horse races at Oaklawn and golfed regularly, enjoying the bathhouse, and partook the many gambling facilities that were in the area.
I mean, it was a hot spot.
Of course they did.
It was a hot spot and like a free zone for gangsters and everybody. The police, the politicians were all in on it.
Right.
Al Capone was often had as many as 40 men occupying him, all of whom were known to be violent thugs in Chicago. Well, obviously, he's going to have 40 people that are not going to do anything when he needs it. This dude's walking around with a 40-man army every time. Isn't that crazy?
No, because there's generals that walk around with million-man armies.
They ain't walking around with them down the streets. A million people ain't following them.
That's true. But he does it, I guarantee his entourage is at least 15 deep, all of who are more valuable than these 40 men.
It's true.
You know?
Well,
I don't know if that has to do with anything, but...
Well, Capone was in the Spot City. They were peaceful, polite, friendly, and appreciated as generous tippers. I mean, these guys were just great. Of course they were. This was a safe space.
I was saying, of course, why would they be over there causing trouble? This is their resort. Right. They're going here on vacation.
Right. I mean, come on. These guys ain't monsters. No. By 1929, Al Capone was arrested several times.
Yep.
And finally, you know where you guys went.
He went.
By the end of this release in 1939, he was physically and mentally ill.
Sure was. Syphilis.
All right, they just let him out. He died in Florida in 1947.
And he did.
Today,
Yep.
Suite 443 in the Arlington Hotel still bears his name.
It's the Al Capone suite. You know how much that freaking sells out probably all the time?
Right.
Well, and here we're looking at it, Arlington Hotel, Hot Springs, Arkansas. That's good. The hotel.
It's nice. Still there today?
Stuff. Yeah. Well, obviously, it still bears his name, Suite 443.
And they just could have removed that room itself and put it in a museum.
I'm sure they did. One of the most notorious of the many mobsters that spent time in Hot Springs was Oni the Killer Madden.
Well, did we do one on him?
We will not, but we will now after serving a year in Sing Sing prison for parole violations.
Whoa, he was in China?
No, that's in like New Jersey or something.
Why?
Madden was released in 1933 and began to visit Hot Springs seeking a slower lifestyle than what he had lived in the big city.
But still get away with.
Right. Well, by that time, Madden was in his 40s and in chronic ill health because of old bullet wounds.
Wow, this dude had lead poisoning?
Yeah, I bet.
Well,
Not lead poisoning,
right.
but
Well, could have.
just bullets that took out a liver or a spleen or something.
Right, bro. While he was there, he met a gift shop clerk, Agnes.
Agnes,
Denby.
what a very 30s name that is.
Oh, Agnes, and I bet she was good looking. The daughter of a local postmaster. He married her in November 1935 and settled down in Hot Springs for the rest of his life.
Good for him.
Having made a fortune in New York City in illegal liquor revenue during the Prohibition era,
Why did we not cover this guy?
and as the owner of Stork Club and the Cotton Club, Madden could have retired, but instead, he applied his organizational skills to the large and soon-to-be larger illegal gambling operations of Hot Springs. Why not? He's a man behind the scenes, really.
Right.
He did basically retire.
That's what he's going to do.
All right, we got a picture here of old Madden.
Well-respected, well-liked, and generous to the community, Madden settled into Hot Springs very
they all?
easily.
Aren't they all?
Always are. Before long, many of his old acquaintances from New York began to visit him, including Meyer Lansky,
Oh,
Lucky
Lansky.
Luciano, Bugsy
Did you watch that
Siegel,
movie, Lansky?
Dutch
Just came out?
Schultz, and
Great.
even his Sing Sing warden, Lewis Laws.
Sing
What?
Sing.
The warden at the prison came to visit him.
Nice.
Word soon spread that Hot Springs was the perfect hideout for criminals running from police investigations. Well, if word's spreading, it's not such a great hideout after all, is it?
Right. Madden was reputed to have owned an interest in the Southern Club, as well as becoming an overlord of the city's illicit gambling activities.
Right.
Madden spent the rest of his life in Hot Springs until he died of emphysema, April 1965, and was buried in Greenwood Cemetery.
Well, this dude does a lot of stuff in the 30s, apparently,
Madden?
with the
Right.
Hot Springs gambling and stuff like that. So maybe we will do an episode on him.
Well, I have
Technically
to.
still 30s, right?
Right. I would say so.
Right.
Well,
Well,
we
in
got a
April-
picture here of Lucky Luciano smoking a cigarette.
On April 1st, 1936, when Charles Lucky Luciano was visiting, he was not so lucky, as he was detained by the Hot Springs Police Department on orders from Thomas Dewey, who was the New York State Attorney General. Well, as he was walking along federal property along Bathhouse Row with none other than Hot Springs Chief of Detectives Herbert Dutch Akers, he was
Why wouldn't he?
arrested.
Oh.
However, a local judge released Luciano after a $5,000 bond was paid.
Okay. That's a lot of money back
He's
then.
walking down the street with the chief of detectives,
Right.
Akers,
And was arrested.
and was arrested because the old attorney general forced the Hot Springs Police Department and said, "You better do it.
Wow.
You don't want to be a laughingstock."
And enraged, Dewey contacted the Arkansas governor and state attorney, demanding action. But Hot Springs officials were reluctant to begin the extradition hearings. They're like, I don't know about that. A new fugitive warrant was issued on the 3rd of April. 20 state troopers were sent to collect Luciano and move him to Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Though a $50,000 bribe was made to make sure the extradition was denied.
Okay, I'd probably deny it too in that day for $50,000.
Right. The authorities couldn't be bought, and within days, Luciano was returned to Arkansas to New York to stand trial.
Oh, they didn't.
Right.
Though a $50,000 bribe was made,
Right.
they didn't. They couldn't be bought. He ain't buying me.
No, these guys got a mission.
Mm-hmm.
They're making more than that back in New York anyway, probably. Luciano was returned from Arkansas to New York to stand trial for running a prostitution racketeering
That's
program. He spent the next 10 years in Dannemora prison before being released in 1946. So he got released.
He did.
Good for him. He was then deported back to Italy, where he spent the rest of his life.
And he died in
Right.
of a heart attack in an airport.
Right.
Well, the guy that we just did pretty much an episode on last week, Alvin Creepy Karpis, who was America's last official public enemy #1, often made Hot Springs his hideout.
Nice.
Although most well known for committing crimes to the Midwest, the Barker Karpis gang's first murder occurred in Pocahontas, Arkansas in 1931, and the gang members later holed up in Hot Springs.
We knew that.
By 1935, most of the gang members had been killed or imprisoned, but Alvin Karpis was still on the run.
Nice.
For 2 kidnappings. They're wanting this guy by now.
I mean, this guy, if you didn't listen to the episode, which you need to,
What you should, yeah.
he just moved up the ladder of stealing things.
He did. He stole. He stole people. He was a people thief.
1935.
How come they don't call him that? Kidnappers.
Right.
Kidnapping. There's no kid
Right.
involved. It's a people thief.
All right.
People burglary.
Napping. When you can't call it napping either. That's our trademark.
Right.
Napped.
We just named that.
Well, 1935, month of June. Carpus head to Hot Springs again.
Month of June.
Taking
And I'm gonna
refugee.
be.
Right.
What are you, the pastor from Coming to America?
Right. Carpus head to Hot Springs again, taking refuge at the Hattery Hotel, managed by Grace Goldstein. She and Carpet soon developed a romantic relationship, and are often referenced as having a common law marriage.
Yeah, we know.
Right. Goldstein also managed a brothel above the Hattery.
Yes.
And the joint was generally overlooked by the corrupt Hot Springs police.
Of course.
Later, Carpus, along with one of his accomplices, Fred Hunter, stayed at Lake Catherine and Lake Hamilton nearby before renting a house between Malvern and Hot Springs. What's that matter?
Just letting you know. He's right there, man. He's in the area. Public enemy guy, you know?
He ain't going
On
nowhere.
March 30th, 1936, the FBI raided the house only to find that the two had already fled to New Orleans.
All right.
Both were later apprehended by FBI agents in July. Carpus pleaded guilty to kidnapping and was sent to Alcatraz.
Yep.
He served 33 years, released in 1968. In 1979, he died from an overdose of sleeping pills while living in Spain.
How can you do that?
Right.
Although some of these criminals would get their just due
Quote,
and
unquote.
never again visit Hot Springs, the city continued to be a haven for criminals looking to hide. Bugsy Siegel, Jimmy Blue Eyes,
Hey, there's Jimmy Blue Eyes.
Frankie Costello
Hey, Frankie Costello.
would continue to visit Hot Springs well into the 1960s.
Into the 60s, which you guys will, you'll hear it.
Right.
Some historians even contend that Bugsy Siegel's vision for the Flamingo Hotel in Vegas, Nevada, came from his many visits to the casinos of Hot Springs. I'm sure it did.
Right.
Albert Anastasia, seeking business advice from Owen Madden, was in Hot Springs just days before he was gunned down at the Park Sheridan Hotel in New York. Spoiler alert, Meyer Lansky would regularly bring his son Buddy for treatment of cerebral palsy at Hot Springs Levi Hospital.
Right.
Okay?
But gangster activity, as well as other illegal activities in Hot Springs, came to an end
Done.
in the 1960s due to a federal crackdown on what the government called the site of the largest illegal gambling operation in the United States of America.
Oh, jeez. Well, in 1967, two Republican office holders, Governor Winthrop Rockefeller
And of course.
and Circuit Judge Henry M. Britt,
Rockefeller.
right, they began to enforce the existing state laws and eliminate the gambling laws that had been made legal in Hot Springs. The governor sent in a company of state troopers to shutter the casinos and burn their gaming equipment.
Oh, my goodness.
Afterward, the only legal form of gambling was at Oaklawn Park, which was a thoroughbred horse racing track south of downtown Hot Springs, and it has
guess
remained
who was there every race? The two Republican officers, Governor Winthrop Rockefeller and Circuit Judge Henry M. Britt.
They probably own stakes in the
Obviously.
race park.
Obviously.
That's your Hot Springs, Arkansas history.
Springs.
As you can see, many gangsters, many more than what was
That's just up
even
to
named in here.
1967.
We'll be back next week. I'm not really sure who we got left in the 30s, but there's definitely
There's a shitload.
a few more people from the 30s that we got to do still before moving to the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, and we'll even do future gangs. Called the
You guys wouldn't believe what kind of gangs are in the future.
called the Joe Biden administration. Oh, no, he didn't. That one, we're going to end this episode of Outlaws and Gunslingers. If you guys like talking about politics, for instance, music, sports, movies,
Two people yelling at each other.
two people yelling at each other, conspiracy theories, whatever, anything and everything. It's the Bang and Dang Show. Wherever you get your podcast, go look us up. And if you guys are wrestling fans, we got
And
the
apparently, dang is a commonly used word in the South.
And we have if you guys are fans of wrestling, we have the Monday Night Watch Along podcast where we watch each and every main event from
Each and every main event.
their very first Nitro.
Extracurricular activity, which is interviews or segments, are also counted,
They are, but
along with crowd activity.
from the very first Nitro, we went and watched the main events of both shows, Raw and Nitro, and we are up to 100. And we just we just recorded
Same thing.
the week 106 weeks. 106 weeks we've been doing this every single week from the inception of Nitro up until
guys.
now.
Ridiculous, guys.
And Nitro
Sounds-
has a huge lead in our rankings, which we rank 1 out of 10 of crowd, 1 out of 10 of match, and 1 out of 10 of extracurricular activity, like
We
Dan
still got
said.
4 more years.
We got 4 more, essentially 4 more years.
Literally,
Yeah.
4 more years of doing this.
Well, no, because early 2001 was when WWE ends, so it's like March.
Yeah, unless we start doing like 3 shows a week, we got 4 more years.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%. Yeah, so that's going to be around forever. Monday Night Watch Along, wherever you get your
Forever, well, not
podcasts.
forever. 4 years is not forever.
Forever.
Or 4 years.
We'll be back next week. Outlaws and Gunslingers and Mother Michiganers.
Bang, bang.